Hello.
Hey.
Hey, you're wearing a nice blue.
I am. This is my U.S. Coast Guard shirt.
Oh, okay. That's mine too. It just doesn't have U.S. Coast Guard on it.
Yeah.
So, here. What are you drinking?
Water. A little too early for the bourbon I normally have.
Oh, yeah. So are we just going to ask those questions and you're going to edit, or is that how we're going to do this? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
Joel's coming on now. At least I think he is.
All right.
It looks like he's connecting to audio. You there?
Muted.
Buongiorno, buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
Hey.
Yeah. Yeah. How are you, Joel?
Good, Kevin. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful.
All right.
This is going to be fun. Let me brief you just kind of on the concept and how we'll run this. Pat, you might want to turn your camera in the horizontal mode, so then it'll be the same for each of us. There you go. So yeah, what we thought we'd do is incorporate into the into our Sunday service a segment coming weeks with just various missionaries or missions that we support around the globe and in the. So I wanted to just start with you because I thought it would be kind of fun to connect the body with what's happening over there in Italy.
Sure. Yeah.
And with what's happening with you. And so what we'll do is as we're ready here in the next couple of minutes, Pat, that's not a good view. I can't, you're all silhouetted. Back.
You just can't do anything right, can you, Pat?
Hey, Joel.
That's,
I'm going to make an offer you can't use.
no.
I have to come to the Father.
God, son.
See if he'll bail me out.
Yeah, so I'll be editing all this out, see?
Okay.
Once like the content started, then we'll just be able to edit and cut and make it a concise package. So I'm just going to ask some questions, Pat. If you've got any questions, feel free, and then Joel can just engage with us as he feels like it. So, okay, you ready?
Yep.
I'm ready.
Okay. Well, so Fellowship Bible Church, we're excited today to have on our call Joel Fritz, all the way from Italy, and Pat's on the line with us, and we're just going to have a little dialogue and brief the body on what's happening over there, how COVID's affecting him, how the Lord is magnifying himself, and what our involvement and activities are over there. So welcome, Joel. It's great to see you.
Ciao tutti. That's how you say hello, everyone, in Italian, by the way.
Say it again.
Ciao tutti.
Ciao tutti.
What does buongiorno mean, Joel?
Buongiorno means good morning, but I'd say that to someone like you, Pat, who I don't know very well. You know, that ciao is the more friendly greeting. So I'm saying that to everybody in fellowship.
Typical parent-child relationship.
That's exactly right.
Distancing himself from the
Hey,
one.
I'm sorry. I'll tone it down so you look like the funny, energetic guy and not me, okay?
All right.
Okay. So Joel, now you've been in Italy for is it closing in on a year now?
Yeah, it's nine or 10 months. I think at the end of April, it's 10 months. Yeah, so it
And,
is closing in on a year.
and so you have been there from the beginning of when this Corona pandemic started.
Right from the start. Yes, right from the start. Zero to 100 miles an hour. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell us what's been your experience with this thing. Where is it at now? Just give us kind of the update from Italy on what's going on there, the real on the ground view.
Sure. Well, I mean, it came on very quickly. It was very surprising. We remember the beginning of the talk of coronavirus, and it didn't seem very serious at first. Probably much like everybody experienced in the United States. There's this virus. It's in China. In Italy, there's so much tourism. All of a sudden, there was just kind of these stories. These people have coronavirus. Chinese tourists brought it over to Italy. And that's in the end of February. We start hearing about it. We hear that it's in Milan, which is up north from us. And literally the next thing you know, the cases are compounding hundreds at a time.
Wow.
Then it seems like it's going to be out of control. Everybody freaks out and the government locks down the whole country. And then we're in the South where Italy's not a big country compared to the United States. There's about 60 million people. Geographically, it's not near the size of the United States. So the proximity is a lot closer here in Europe and in Italy. But still, it's up north, but you feel like it's all of a sudden just going to travel, right down to where we're at in no time. And they lock down Milan, and the next thing you know, you hear of all the college students, and they just go, hey, we're off school. And so they go to the Alps to go skiing. They totally just flee the city. Everybody goes, I don't want to get stuck in my house. I don't want to get locked down. So they just flee throughout the entire country. So yeah, there was a lot of fear among people. We definitely encountered that. There was a lot of sense of the unknown, and then everybody's just stuck in their houses, and you just can't really do anything. And it's a little different from the United States. We watch with eyes of envy as we see you guys going on walks outside and things. Getting to ride his bike outside. I had to buy a bicycle trainer to ride indoors, and we're in an apartment. It's not the smallest apartment in Italy, so that's good, but still, it's a 3-bedroom, what we would consider kind of a small 3-bedroom apartment in the United States. And my kids and I have, and my wife Kristen, have been in this apartment for 48 days now, I think. Yeah, and so to give you guys just a little bit of perspective there, we realized that it had been 35 days that our kids had not worn shoes. And so just no shoes. We just saw the shoes sitting next to the door piled up. And now it's those moments where you just realize what has actually happened.
Yeah.
That much time has actually passed. Now we're just desperate to get out. That's kind of the feeling in the entire country. You got to get us back to work. This has to end. We have to lift these restrictions, isolate what we've got to isolate, but let everybody else out. So that's kind of a rundown.
Well, so tell us about, the ministry activities. Now, before Corona, give an overview of what the ministry vision was for you and your family there in Italy.
Yeah, the ministry vision is generally simple in that we are, in the strictest sense, evangelists. I mean, here we are in a place where almost everybody that we encounter, if they're under 45 years old, is an atheist or an agnostic, regardless of Italy's status as a Christian nation or a Catholic nation is what it is. Regardless of that, if they're under 45, they're by and large an atheist or an agnostic. Then the older generations are largely Catholic. They have that background, but it's a very religious sense. It's an obligation to them. It's basically, it's part of their tradition. It's what they've done their entire lives, and it's what they do. So really our goal, if you even were go on our website, just right on the front, what it says is our ambition is to help Italians find a vibrant relationship with a living God. So the point is that we don't, Jesus is at the heart of the Catholic religion, but the thing is that we all have this thing. Well, actually reading Galatians, we see Paul continually combated it in the New Testament. We all have this thing where once we meet Jesus, It's almost like we turn something into religion and then it gets stagnant. And so our desire is for those that know Jesus already in some way, that we would help them find a vibrant relationship with the living God. And for those who don't know Jesus, that we would help them find Jesus and meet Jesus for the first time. So it looks like a lot of conversations with people, and then we have a very small house church that is all in Italian, because we came and joined with 4 other adults. 2 of them are Italian and can speak Italian. And so we're dependent for the little church service that is going on, which we would consider much more like a Bible study. But we have a little message, and there's about 15 people. About 10 of them are Italians. And but it's if it can be, it's in Italian. Otherwise, like when I preach, it's in English. So we do that. And then if you'll indulge me for one more second, I'll just give you an idea of what we were leading up to until right before coronavirus hit. We are always looking for inroads, what I call pre-evangelism. You got to create a relationship before you can actually tell somebody about Jesus. You have to have a reason to talk about Jesus. And we had made relationship with this interesting little venue. There's kind of like a concert venue, coffee shop, bar type of a deal. And they were going to host us, and we were going to do something that I call the 3 circles. And one of the circles is called the Circle of Clarity. And in the Circle of Clarity, we just go over 5 points where you're looking at how do I take a dream out of my mind and bring it into reality. It's a conversational piece, to get people thinking, and a conversation to think about, lead them toward what I call deeper questions in life. And so we had this set up, and they have an email list of 350 people. They were sending it out to their email list. They were going to come and they're going to watch us talk about and have us host us to talk about, your dreams and the Circle of Clarity. And then that was scheduled for March 6th. They said no groups over 10, I think on March 5th, and March 9th, the whole country was locked down. So we were disappointed because we had that set up with them. And then we had one set up with an entrepreneurial group. And we were going to do another circle that we call one of the other 3 of the 3 circles, called the 5 questions everyone must answer. And so we were set up to do that with this entrepreneurial group, and they were excited. And it just goes to nothing. And I know it's probably much of what the church world is feeling in the United States, when all of a sudden you can't meet together. And you go, well, what do we do if we can't meet together? Well, here we are. We're on video conference, and there's content, but it's not flesh and bone. I'm not with you guys. It's not quite as tangible, but it does work. It's relevant. So that's what we've been trying to figure out since then. And people are less inclined to meet on the phone. They're less, it just seems like there's this general sense of suppression. Everybody's just kind of in their houses until we get out and things can restart. So we do what we can now. I have some other stuff you want to ask, but anyway, so leading up, that's our vision and what kind of led right up to the coronavirus.
Well, and that kind of led into the second question, which is, how has it been changed now that you're on lockdown? I would guess there's many aspects that you're just unable to do it all, and then there may be some things you're still able to do. So that was the question on that.
Yeah, without a doubt, I personally feel like we're able to do very little. But that's going to have a lot to do with my personality. So I just love to be with people. When I'm in the presence of another person, it just engages me. It's my favorite thing to do. So I've found during this time, I've been pastoring 11 and a half years with Pat, and then 8 years at Living Streams in Phoenix. So 19 years of full-time ministry. So I've really enjoyed my time discipling people, but now here I am, and I'm in the role where I'm talking to people who don't know Jesus every single day. So I'm asking myself, how do I get involved with those people? I joined the bicycle club here, I'm with guys that don't speak any English, and I'm out riding, bicycles with them, doing anything that I can to meet people, because that's who I am. Now enter in the coronavirus and put a screen and a phone in my hand, and it just has been, it's been a little bit suffocating for me personally. Now, what we have been able to do is we had a little guys group with 3 young men, and we tried to carry that on, but one of them doesn't want to meet on the phone, maybe for some of the reasons I'm even mentioning here, but they don't want to meet. So then The other two guys, one speaks mostly Italian, so it's hard for me to have a conversation with them. It just gets that much harder to speak what little Italian I have, and there's more of a barrier of when you don't have
Yeah.
the person there to actually understand what's being said. So we try and have those meetings, but they're just, they're a little more flat. But we do them, we do them. I'm going through the 5 questions I just mentioned a minute ago with this guy, Mateo. He's going through a hard time, and he just lost his grandmother 2 days ago. And so we're in life with people. But generally speaking, people, they don't want to have it nearly the exchange. So that's disappointing.
Sure.
So we did, us outside of that, we've had the opportunity to do a couple of things just to help people, to be a light for Jesus during this time. The grocery stores, there are people here in Italy where their income is gone, and now they're starting to feel like I can't afford to get a meal, let alone, live a good life right now. And so the grocery store that we go to, which is just this little tiny corner market has a cart, and we're filling that cart up with pasta and tomato sauce and milk and staples like that. So we do that every time we go in a little market, maybe a couple of times a week. One of our guys on our team here came across 500 surgical masks. And so we were able to take the surgical masks to the hospital and give them to 2 different doctors, and they actually put it in the little Manfredonia newspaper. And so, there I am holding these masks. So that's been good. And interestingly enough, the first week before the coronavirus, when everybody's very worried about the coronavirus and is raging here, I had a reporter from our church in Phoenix call, say, can we do an interview, and so I did this interview, and the next thing I'm doing more communication with the people in America, and it seems like an opportunity where the Lord is giving me a platform to be encouraging and speak life to people in the United States. So I wrote a couple of blogs during that time about having our eyes, shifting our focus off of what's happening here and onto heaven, because there's a reality that is just typically out of focus.
Yeah.
And we've got to refocus and focus on those things. So conversations like that have been good. But other than that, it presents a challenge, because a lot of times I feel like there's that wrestling, and we hear a lot about people being contemplative right now. And I've certainly been challenged to be contemplative, to spend time with the Lord, and really allow the Lord to nurture that relationship, and then prayer for people, and the Lord will do the work. And so I'm praying that there will be fruit from this time, even though I don't necessarily feel it, because I don't get to be as productive and energetic and operating in the things that I love to do. Doesn't mean the Lord's not at work.
That's right.
So,
That's right. It's that whole idea of planting a seed, and it doesn't look like there's much happening, but there's an awful lot that's going on under the ground before it ever starts to break the surface.
Yeah.
So that's a great point. So what's the prognosis? What's the government telling you is, the prospects here?
Well, we're waiting for news. It's just trickling out, but I don't think it's official yet. Hopefully today or tomorrow. May 3rd is the end of the current period of lockdown. So then the question is, will we be locked down for another week? What will happen? But they're calling it phase 2. And basically then it looks like we will be able to travel outside of our city to another city. So we won't have to carry a paper with us. Every time I leave the house right now to go to the grocery store, I have to fill out a paper. Otherwise, I can get a fine 400 to 3,000 euro, which is about equivalent, a little bit more than dollars. But anyway, so that's supposed to lift, and we're very much looking forward to that. And then shops are supposed to slowly reopen in the parts that aren't hard hit. So we'd be in that grouping of people.
I got it.
No group gatherings anytime in the near future, and restaurants aren't supposed to open until May 18th at the earliest, if those reports are shown to be accurate.
Sure. Okay, so what word would you have for the church, or what can we pray with you about? How can we support you during this time?
Yeah. That's a great question. And I had all these different thoughts go through my mind, because I was thinking, what if you ask me? What if you ask me, is there a word for the church? And what's funny is I get these 2 things, and I don't know which one is really, which one the Lord is working, but I'll say both of them just real quick. One is this is not, something like the coronavirus has the opportunity to move us as believers in Jesus Christ from a place of really feeling like the United States is where our true citizenship is. And the coronavirus has this opportunity to dislodge us from that and put us in a place where we can actually realize that heaven is where our true and accurate citizenship is, that we are passersby in this world. And it's a really interesting thing to wrestle with. But when you can't find hope in the midst of it, or you experience fear, or your job is taken away from you, and all the pillars or the foundational elements that you have built your house upon are crumbling because the storm comes, then where do you turn? And ultimately, the greatest hope and the greatest peace truly does come from the reality that we are citizens of heaven. This is not our home. We are looking forward to something that Jesus is preparing for us. And in John, he tells us, I have gone to prepare a place for you. And I look forward to that. So it's a wonderful thing. And then thinking, this other little thing that was in my mind is this thought that when I left Fellowship Bible Church about 8 or 9 years ago, I had this ship, and Pat, I think, did a message about how we can look at ships in a bottle, but ships in a bottle, they're in the wrong place because the ship was actually made to sail. And we take these bottles and we make these ships and we make sure everything looks perfect and we set them up on the shelf, but that's not the intention of a ship. But it's almost like that's what we want to do with church. And that's almost what we want to do with our own lives, is we want to make everything look perfect. We want to put it on a shelf and let everybody look at it and act like it's real life. And the truth is that ship was made to sail. And so I had this I had a ship in a bottle when I was pastoring at Fellowship Bible Church all these years ago. And
Yes.
I broke the glass and left the ship, and took the ship and left the shattered bottle on my desk as I exited Fellowship Bible Church, because Pat was really encouraging me during that time. Once you set sail, there's no turning back. And not in a bad way, in a great way. It's that moment of, you have the apprehension, but you know that the Lord is doing something, and I've got to go chase the adventure. And so my encouragement is to not become complacent. Here we are in Italy. Who knew we'd be in Italy and the coronavirus would drop? Here we are, epicenter. Okay. I just can't explain it, but the Lord is obviously doing something. So chase the adventure, let the Lord do with you what he made you to do. Don't sit in the bottle, break the bottle and get out in the ocean and see what he does.
Yeah. Hey, Pat,
Joel,
your video's actually muted, Pat. I need you to turn your video back on.
Okay. How do I do that, though? Because it won't let me. It just says your video is stopped.
We'll start it.
I need to find a place to do
like
that.
Touch the screen and the icons will show up at the bottom. And
Yeah, they're not.
Looks like a
Oh,
camera. There you go.
Okay. Hey, Joel.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that was a great memory to bring back about that ship being sailed out to the blue ocean.
Yeah.
And what I think about, because I know you are that high energizer person. And I think the Apostle Paul was a high energizer person too. And yet you think about the majority of his work was done in prison in Rome. And, where even those who got to go out when he's writing to the Philippians from that jail cell, and other people are preaching Christ from other motives, he just finds a way to rejoice and finds a way to be productive. And that's one thing that I know about you. You will always find a way to be productive. And I'm going to be praying for you that God will be bringing people your way, and that there'll be a good translator with you.
Praise the Lord for that.
Where Leonardo would translate for me.
Yeah.
And I had no idea what he was saying, but he said, "Don't worry, you're doing a beautiful job." Yeah. But Joel, you are the true missionary of Fellowship Bible Church. You're our son in the faith. And I would like just to pray for you. And we will be so glad for the church to hear this message and to see you and Kristen and all the kids, the beautiful kids. So can I pray for you?
Please.
Lord Jesus, we thank you for Joel Fritz. Lord, we thank you that we have known him since he was a small child. We've seen him come to faith. We've watched him launch out in many different arenas, college, youth ministry intern, Lord, more college, associate in the ministry, seminary, pastor in Phoenix, and now on the blue ocean, in a place where Christianity has historically thrived. So, Lord, thank you for that apartment that he's in. And I'm reminded, too, that John 14, where Jesus says, I prepare for you a place in heaven. We have songs about a mansion in the sky, but the word literally translates, I have an apartment for you. So, Lord, give Joel that continued strength, courage, joy, the entrepreneurial spirit. Lord, speak to him daily about what he can do. Thank you that he can love his family. But Lord, we know that it's not only that. Make him the evangelist that you have called him to be. And we, Lord, want to know how to partner with him, because we are life partners on this earth, and we know we will rejoice in heaven, talking even about this time. So we just give you the glory now, in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Any
Great.
final words, Joel?
Well, I don't know what it's like for you guys over there in lockdown in America, but I noticed the other day that I've developed calluses on my knees because I've become a horsey and a bull. And the kids, they want to get their energy out in this little apartment, but I'm like the pony in the circle track going around in circles.
Well, I thought you were going to get spiritual on us and tell us you were praying so much, but no.
Oh yeah. Nope. It's much more spiritual than that. So I'll leave you with that funny thought, because I don't know what it's like for you guys, but I'm praying for you in lockdown too, because I at least know a little bit about what it's like.
I am glad that the young stallion Joel has been broken in and now
Yes.
able to be ridden. So you're doing productive work there, Joel.
Truly.
So, all right, we'll say goodbye then in Italian.
Okay, ciao tutti.
Oh, it's the same.
They make it easy for you. So
Oh, goodness.
if it's morning, I can say buona giornata, and that closes it out. Like, have a great day. And so I guess it'll be morning for you and everybody's seeing it.
It kind of
So
is.
there you go. Buona giornata.
All right.
Ciao.
Well, God bless you.
Ciao.
Okay,
God bless you too.
Don't hang up. Hey, Joel,
Okay.
can you text the website that you have for your ministry up there, and I'll make sure I close that on the screen as I build this. And any other stuff that might be helpful throughout our conversation to have posted up there. And hopefully you can join us on Sunday morning.
That sounds fun. What time do you guys do it?
We start the broadcast at 10 a.m.
So 10, so then it's that 7 p.m. here. Yeah, okay. All right.
So,
we have church at 7. We do our church service at 7 p.m.
Oh,
so do you guys, does it record? Yeah, okay, good.
It records and posts. All right, guys. Thanks
All right.
for this.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.